Hi, thanks for picking up the egg for Seminar 6. These are the verbal instructions. My name is Mad John. If you have any additional questions, you can text or call me at 757-201-4934, and I'll help you out there. But only listen to this tape one time and try to remember it best you can, and then replicate the activity if you want to. So this one was actually originally hosted on Easter as well, so it's sort of, I would say it would be very honorable to do it again. But essentially the activity is making candles, making prayer candles for people that you respect, people that you idolize. And this is sort of reflective of the idea of a prayer candle or a candle with an icon. Think like Mother Maria, Jesus, these like illuminated from the inside candles that remind you of what you look up to and value. So the process for this, you'll use reused wax that you can get from various people that you know, ideally the participants in your activity. And this is a good way, like, I don't know if you know anyone that's picky about the way that candles burn, or I don't know, if they use wax in a sculpture, which is fine, make it weird, I don't care. Collect the wax or prompt them to bring it to this activity. And then you'll need a kettle. You can fill this kettle with hot water, and you're going to want like a little cup that fits into the kettle space. And then you can just put like a jar in there and put the wax in the jar and melt it that way. Or in the most recent event, I actually lit a candle from the previous event and then suspended a jar over top of it. And that was pretty functional. So yeah, do that. Assembles everyone's waxes, provide a little bit of paper. I usually use wood glue to adhere the labels, just because that's what I have on hand, but use any kind of adhesive. You're going to want to bring a bunch of jars, probably reused jars from, living your life. But you can also go trolling in like glass recycling bins around places, or just ask people if they have any excess jars. Ideally, like pretty small, because these candles do tend out pretty small, just because it's leftover wax. There's not like a ton of material. But you'll assemble these jars, assemble this wax. You'll get some cotton thread or yarn. If you're on VCU campus, come to Knitwits at VCU, and we have cotton yarn that you can use. Or, there's plenty of places you can find that. Just use a cotton wick. You can use a t-shirt, I don't care, as long as it's cotton. Or a natural fiber. Google what wicks are, And so these, as you're melting your wax, you'll put a little portion of each of the collection that each person has brought, and you'll melt it down in your central container. And this will create smells. Likely a lot of the aromas that people are bringing are pretty different and strong, which is likely why they're not burned super frequently. I know that I always bring a fragrant candle because I don't like it. But yeah, notice the smells blending together as everything melts. Understand that the smell is like a link to this experience, and the ratios are irreplaceable. You're making a new scent of likely factory decided versions. So you'll have this aroma that's melting down as you work. You can pour it into jars. You'll take your wicks and pre-soak them in wax, and then adhere them to the bottom of the jar. You can do this just by a little bit of melted wax. Get a stick or a pen or something, and we'll keep it centered over the top. And then from there, you will pour in your mixture and let it cool. And while it's cooling, you can take out this paper that you've got on hand, any drawing utensils. I would recommend receipt paper is good. I've used that in the past just because it's a thing that I have on hand. But you'll want receipt paper and maybe markers or translucent, colorful materials. I'm about to walk by some people, so I'm going to be quiet for a second. Yeah, but pretty much that's the thing. So you'll think of someone or an idea that you think is admirable, something that you look up to and that you think a sensory reminder of would be fortifying for you in your daily life. Think about prayer candles and the way that prayer is a part of life and restorative behavior. Ooh, there's a painting and an RC car over here. It's kind of interesting. Huh, that is interesting. Anyways, draw this person, color them in, everybody talk a little bit about what they mean to you, and then adhere it to the surface of the jar that with your cooled wax. Trim your wick down if you want to, or leave it long to take it home. I like to curl mine up around the pencil, and then it looks like a little like pumpkin stem, but I think it's super cute. Whew. Dang. But yeah, that's pretty much the activity. And then you can go home. Like I said, I hosted this on Easter originally. I would recommend, if you have a bunch of chocolate rabbits, everybody bring one and then try to eat an entire one throughout the course of the activity. That's just sort of like a fun thought for Easter, you know. Maybe throw jelly beans at each other. I'm trying to think of like thematic embellishments, but make it your own. Do this activity. Enjoy your friends. Later on, light the candle when you feel like you need a reminder of that person. And remember that these people do that too. And enjoy. Only listen to this once.